echo. Yo. Hello and welcome to the trio of positivity, people. My boys are here. The Bears won. It's a beautiful week in Chicago. This is your host, Bupen, joined, as always, by my fellow Positive Brigade members, Miller and Chris. Boys, how we doing?
Yabba dabba doo, baby. The Bears are 2-2. Saw what I did there, didn't you?
They're 4-2. 4-0. Oh, wait, they're not. Never mind. What's up, Chris?
What's going on? Not like me trying to figure out how shit's supposed to work today. If we're watching on the live stream, then they'll know what's happening. Some people can't keep their fucking mouth shut.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the Trio of Positivity podcast. Welcome one more time, boys and girls. We look at the Chicago landscape, try to bring some positivity into your life, you know?
Yes!
What's
50
it,
seconds under, baby. Let's go.
Wow.
He did text me that for the record.
Social plug, you can find us on Facebook on the Trio of Positivity podcast. At Twitter, we are at Trio Positivity. That's not even right. At Positive Trio.
That is incorrect, sir.
At YouTube,
We have a new Twitter handle.
at Positive Trio.
Do you not read? Do you not read the agenda?
Literally on the agenda.
It's on the agenda. We literally go over this.
I read it.
No, you did not.
Okay. Please read what's on the agenda to me.
At Twitter, at the Positive Trio.
There you go.
That's what I said twice.
No, you did not.
At YouTube, we're at Trio Positivity Podcast. Check the website out. Chris is writing some articles from what I heard. In today's episode, we'll recap the 2024 NFL Week 4. The Bears win. We'll give you detailed thoughts on the next matchup versus the Panthers. We'll also give you some findings. Miller has some pretty invigorating thoughts, I think, to share with us on this topic. It's overall going to be a good episode. I think I need some fantasy therapy, Miller. That's what I'm coming to you for today. So it's a lot about me today. This episode is about me. Thank you for tuning in, whoever. This is Bupen's live therapy session. Okay, let's start off here, boys.
Wait a minute. I just need to clarify something. Who's watching the episode again? Because that time it wasn't me.
I swear to God, I'm not.
What?
Okay.
Are you watching the episode live?
I hear it, and it's not me this time.
I'm watching it, but mine's on mute.
Well, I heard it.
Maybe Hannah pulled it up.
No. Now we're blaming people. Jesus. What is wrong in this world? We just start blaming
Can we just
everyone.
focus? Jesus Christ, I'm going to get yelled at for going long, and it's not even my content's fault.
Okay, let's start here. Let's get some, highbrow reaction to Week 4. Miller, I feel like you'll get us up in a good spot. Give me your honest take on Week 4, please.
So we are basically one quarter of the way through the season. It used to be one quarter. I think now it's a little less because we're at 17 games. And there is no outliers. You have a bunch of teams that are between 1-3 and 3-1. You have two teams that are 4-0 in the Vikings and the Chiefs, and one team that's 0-4 in the Jaguars. The power rankings are all over the place. No one knows what to fucking expect. It's crazy. People are thinking that the Chiefs are going to lose and not even make the playoffs. And then you have the Vikings with Sam Darnold that looks like the best team in the league. So who the fuck knows what's happening in this NFL right now?
Chris, do you have some?
Let me get a reaction. Jesus Christ! Okay, let's go.
No,
let's focus on Boopin. Maybe Boopin should just talk because this is the Boopin therapy session.
I didn't want to say much because if you look later in the agenda, I have a whole segment.
Listen, it's obvious neither of you fucks look at the agenda. It's always me. I'm always the most prepared in this group. All right? It's been pretty fucking obvious that it's been me this whole time, but that's okay. Sometimes I got to carry the cojones of what we call the Trio of Positivity podcast. The only take that Excuse me?
The balls of the podcast you got carrying.
Cojones, come on, be respectful. There's children watching. Well, actually, if they are, you're fucking idiots. Your parents are awful. Don't let them watch this show.
I have this live streamed in my kid's room. Thanks. Appreciate that.
You do? You should not
so they
do
can
that.
listen to my beautiful voice, obviously.
Not just yours. The real take that I have is, which it's probably not a real take. It's just something that I've kind of noticed. Could this actually be the year that we see a bunch of trades happening in the trade deadline with all the teams that are kind of in the middle? There's been plenty of rumors, including one from Chicago, which rumor has it DJ Moore wants out, but
he does look pissy on the floor on the team.
What are you talking about?
There was
Source
a little
that,
rumor.
please.
There was a little
Source
rumor.
that, please.
Okay, Twitter, take it easy.
I
You
haven't
don't
seen a lick of that.
Wait, hang on. There was at least one play where he kept running and he didn't stop.
I'm not arguing that. I'm
there was a
arguing
chance.
his fact that there was talk about DJ getting
no one's
out of Chicago.
No one's trading for him because no one wants to pay for 6 fucking years except us, okay? But does look pissy.
There was little rumors again. It was, I think, DJ Moore's dad or something like that. I don't know. But
it
was his daughter. It was his daughter. I know.
Fucking Christ.
But I think, could this be the year? And we can probably talk about it a little bit here before we go to your point, Boopin. Could we actually see like what happens in the NBA where it's like, hey, we got a bunch of stuff happening before the trade deadline in the NFL?
I mean, what's your definition of a lot of trades?
I think where people actually try to make moves before the deadline, like an actual rush to make moves.
Are you talking about volume? Or are you talking about big names getting moved? I think that's gonna happen. Like Devontae is already asking for a trade, or that's official.
Well, I don't think it was worded that way. I think the way it was worded was that he would prefer to play elsewhere or something like that.
Yeah, it sounded like the Raiders wanted to move on from him, and then he kind of came out after the fact and was just like, okay, yeah, I can deal with this type of deal. I mean, we had 15 trades last year, so I mean, I don't see any situation where huge names are going to be moved. I mean, last year we had big names that were moved. Chase Young was moved. Deontay Sweat was moved.
Yeah.
You had Leonard Williams that was moved. Like, those are big names. So, I mean,
I would say it's more. I would say we probably would see a little bit more in my opinion.
No, you could be right, Chris. Like a lot of middling teams. So if they feel internally that they can make a push, the division is weak, or the other way, right? The division is strong. We need to make some moves. Like there's only 2 divisions where all teams are 500 and better. So like, yeah, no, I can absolutely see that. I would rather say some big names will be moved. I think that we're surprised that they were. Yeah, I like maybe some big time wide receivers in New York, Miller, like you talked about in text earlier. But here's what I was thinking about, right? Miller was talking about the teams that are like good. I'm looking at their quarterbacks, right? Sam Darnold is having a resurgence. Baker Mayfield, Andy Dalton brought back the Panthers from the death. So I was thinking, like, if both of you were GMs and running a team, would you rather want one of these journeymen on your team? Obviously, with the support structure around to make sure they succeed, right? Or would you rather risk it all with a Caleb and a Jaden or a Stroud, right? Bear in mind that if you are getting one of these players, that means you probably had a shitty year. Your record's pretty bad, right? You have to go through that journey to get there. But you get like the control quarterback for 4 or 5 years. Your cap is like maybe 3 years.
I'm just gonna stop. You're talking too much. No, I don't want any of the old fucks. Okay, I'll take their offensive coordinators or the offensive mind behind them, but no, I don't want any of the old fucks. Give me the young guys, regardless of who they are. We're learning more and more that this NFL is ran by offensive-minded coaches. You can see it on a day-to-day basis. Jaden Daniels, Cliff Kingsbury is ridiculous. You look at what they're doing with Sam Darnold in Minnesota. Everything is run by these fucking offensive geniuses in the NFL.
Okay. Chris?
No.
Great answer.
Yep. I mean, there's
Just you're not running your franchise. You're quitting. You're leaving.
no, it's not that. It's just okay. Let me ask you this. Let me counter your question with a question.
Yeah.
Are you in a win now mentality, or are you willing to develop?
I mean, when are you not in a win now
Does it
mentality?
matter?
It does
I
matter.
I wanna win now if I can.
Then these guys are probably not the missing piece you're looking for.
I would think if I'm
Talk
looking
to
to win now.
Minnesota.
Are they Is Sam Darnold available now?
It's a hypothetical fucking question, dude.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
Christ.
would you have expected Sam Darnold to play the way he's playing now? No.
No.
So there you go. If you're in a win now mentality, you don't have Sam Darnold on your top 5.
I actually wouldn't mind this route. I'm looking at them like none of them are making like 40 million a year. They're probably making between 10 and 20 million. I don't know what Baker's getting paid. But like this may not be bad, and I think the window is shorter. With a rookie, you probably have a 3-year window, whatever, to win. Maybe less if you're a Stroud or maybe a Jen Daniel. But if you have these people, you can probably do a 2-year window where you load up on talent and if you can make a run for it. I wouldn't mind this route.
I could see it with maybe Baker if we're talking before the season. Maybe, but that's a stretch.
Come talk to me when one of these actual quarterbacks do something in the playoffs, okay? Then we can actually have a real conversation.
Okay, fair. That's fair. No, I was just like, I was trying to think of something to talk about that stuck out to me, and that's what it was. Okay, good talk, Miller. I'm sorry I didn't react appropriately to your conversation, but I have a whole
Miller's in his typical mood. You know.
No. I have a whole segment on records and who's the most surprising 0-4 team or whatever it is at the end. So, yeah, let's start here. Let's start with the W that our boys got at home this past week, and it was glorious. Mr. Caleb Williams was 7 of 8 for 75 yards against the Blitz. His completion was only 44% before this, but he was at home and everything changed. There were designed run plays. There were passes to Komet and DJ Moore.
Okay, dude, stop talking. These are bullet points.
Horrible. They are horrible. Jesus Christ.
God. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so obviously, like we talked about, Caleb performed a lot better against the Blitz. 7 out of 8 this game for 75 yards compared to what he's done in the past. Obviously, we know what happened with the Titans. They got after him. They blitzed a lot, and it really put a lot of pressure on him. So that was good to see. It was interesting to see them actually run him a little bit for design run plays. That's kind of the first time that we really saw his legs in a designed run pattern rather than just a scramble drill.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool to see.
I did like that he was sliding, he's not taking any unnecessary hits. He was like actually giving up.
No, he's not pulling an Anthony Richardson, so that's nice to see.
I did see that. I wanted to talk about the formations. Look like I don't know if they would learn. They're definitely putting more linemen on the line. There was some creative play calling. Like they were finding the mismatches this week and kind of exploiting it, even in the run game. I thought with like an extra lineman here and there, a little bit more creative, offensive like chess pieces moving around than we have seen the first couple of games. In my opinion,
can I take a line out of Matt Eberflus? It was execution. Execution. You gotta execute. Wow, I think they did that. I think they did that this week.
You look like him too when you said that.
The tight ends, I think. I do not have that much gray in my hair, booping. I think the tight ends did a much better job blocking, and just protecting overall. Caleb had some time. It was interesting to see how they manipulated the line. They just kind of folded it in on him. It gave him a little more time, but he was able to get some passes off. So I thought Caleb played pretty well. He didn't make any mistakes. He had great passes to Cole Kmet down the middle. Obviously, DJ Moore for the touchdown pass. I mean, those are just perfect balls. A few negatives before Chris goes on his rant. There was a few overthrows. Obviously, you had the misconnection there with DJ Moore. DJ Moore came out after the game and said it was his fault. Who knows what it is? All I can say is DJ Moore was slowing up. I don't know why. So that is probably the determining factor there. But one thing that I would like to see more of from Caleb is just to give his wide receivers a chance. There's multiple times during the game where you can see they're like one-on-ones, whether it's with Rome, whether it's with Keenan, whether it's even with DJ, like 50-50 balls, just fucking throw it up. I know you have the fucking pieces of shit in Chicago like Chris and our buddy Ben that just get on his ass if he throws an interception, but it's just like,
whoa,
give him
wait a minute,
just throw a ball
here.
up and give DJ a shot, because there should be, in no land should there be a situation where DJ's got 3 catches for 22 yards. Like, come on, man. It's DJ Moore. Give him the fucking ball. We'll get into it a little bit later. But yeah, that's kind of my wrap up for this week for Caleb. I thought he had a pretty good game. The highest passer rating for the season for him at 106. So he only had like 156 yards, but kept it simple. Game manager. Just what we want out of a overall first round pick.
Right. We don't want anything that is happening in Washington at all. But let's go on ahead and actually wait for the actual real person that knows what he's talking about here.
Thank you,
It's
Chris.
the man of the hour. Yeah. Now, I have a question for you guys before I go into my thing. Who had the most targets?
It was DeAndre Swift.
What position does he play?
Running back.
Oh! Yeah. We didn't use Komet as we should have.
And I DJ told Moore, you, fucking Ed Keenan Allen. Jesus Christ. Get off Komet's balls.
DJ Moore only got 6 targets, caught 3. Now, I think this was more of this is what they were expected to do. The running backs were going to get utilized, and I think they did. So I'm not too mad about it, because of the 7 targets, Swift caught all 7. So there was definitely progress. I think we're going to see the yardages go up. I do believe the play calling was a little bit better. Hey, we saw a screen actually work. That's a fucking first. So I think the play calling was a little bit different. It was improved, and I think it was a lot easier to kind of see that they're trying to make him comfortable in the pocket, and then if there's a breakdown, he's kind of got the green light. I think we can all agree that pocket breaks, he breaks. Like, he just goes. So,
no, not at all. Did you watch the game? He stuck his ass in the pocket for most of the fucking game.
But that's what I'm saying. But most of that was really just good rush. It wasn't like a pocket breaking scenario where you see like one side get pressure more and then he runs the other way. Like, the Rams basically collapsed on him multiple times.
But he doesn't take off. He sticks himself in the pocket. You look at the DeAndre Swift,
I look at the play that he threw,
and he fucking nailed it through a millimeter of fucking thing before.
But I think that was designed.
Disaster would have happened.
Right, but I think that was designed.
Of course they're designed, but yeah. I mean,
I'm looking at the
pocket
play that
is collapsing on you. You may want to freak out and run away like Justin Fields does and run back to the 50-yard line and fumble. Hey, that's what happens. That's what some people tend to do. Caleb has tended to stick in the pocket. That's what he does. That's what he's done all season. Now, it could be a detriment. Maybe he should move out a little bit and use his legs, but that's just not what he's been doing. And keep in mind, the reason why DeAndre Swift may have a lot of those targets is because, while it's not great to say because we don't really want a game manager as our quarterback, but he could have just been taking those open shots rather than pushing that ball down the field, take the dip and dunks, get the free yardage, move the ball down the field, and continue to get those first downs, because we knew watching the game, the Bears had this game in hand. The defense was playing well. The running game was moving the ball. So there's no really reason to take those risks. So that could be why DeAndre did have the most targets on the team.
I think the most impressive...
Looking at the game plan too, sorry, Chris, like,
you're fine.
Where they were running the ball, guys, I don't know if you guys saw this, like, mostly to the right. Like, I think they had a game plan to attack one of their sides with one of our lines.
Came from the right as well.
Yeah, so, like, I think, like, it was like, again, even the throws, some of the throws I think were very deliberately put in places where they saw a mismatch they were trying to take advantage of. That was one of the formation thing I was thinking about. That was what I was talking about. And then it could be deliberate. He did look for his outlet pass, which was DeAndre Swift for the most part. That's why he caught a lot of those balls. A lot more in this game than he had in previous games. Maybe it was like a game plan to so he has an outlet when there's pressure like that. Maybe that was a game plan, but it looked deliberate, is what I wanted to say.
I think my favorite pass was when he actually moved up and threw it to Komet. It was a fucking laser.
Of course it was, because you cling to his fucking leg and you just stick your tongue out and just go.
I love Komet, but I mean, we still stand.
Was that the play action? Was that the play action one, Chris?
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
He zipped beautiful. So
that was beautiful.
And the thing is, too, it's like I'm intrigued. I see improvement. We'll probably get the yardage in the future. Stafford only threw for 224, so I mean, even someone like Stafford can still have what we might consider a low game when it comes to the yardage. But I think a lot of this was really just making him comfortable, kind of making him into a game manager, and it actually seemed to work, even though there are some things that were amiss. I think these were easily worked on. Now, I will shit on Komet. He did have that false start. It was really weird how that play came about, especially when you're at home. But other than that, I think it was a genuine good overall win. I do have the one thing that I will say, and then we can kind of keep talking here. That punter can fucking kick.
Dude, you just talk about how you fucking read the agenda, but you obviously don't. You just covered like 3 of the fucking next points that we were gonna.
Oh yeah, because I'm smart. I don't even need to read the agenda to know that.
Wait, hang on. Remember when I was trying to give our punter a nickname and you guys thought it was a waste of our time? This is what I was talking about. He is legit. There's a reason we took him on the 4th round. And you guys were just shitting on me for even bringing him up. So,
well, you gotta do something. You can't just have the name.
For the record, I think I was shitting on you because he was shitting on the idea. He didn't like the nicknames that were brought up to him. And he was annoyed and he was dismissive. So I think that's why I was. But moving on to the stock risings for the Chicago Bears, we can start off with our punter. Number 1, Tory Taylor, the 4th round pick out of Iowa. He had 5 mega punts, if you will, for 277 yards. 3 of those punts went inside the 20, including one with less than 2 minutes to go in the fucking game pinned the Rams to the 8-yard line. Like, what the fuck, dude? He can do things with that ball. Like, it's just amazing the spin that he's putting on it. And you got to bring it up. You got to say it.
He does. He does have a way with the ball.
Apparently, Caleb Williams needs the punter to win, despite his text messaging at the draft.
I knew you were gonna go there. You had to go there. No. He's well worth a 4th round pick right now, and you don't say that with a lot of punter. He's doing really well.
I mean, he basically won us a game, right? How often do a punter win you a game?
And not just the last one. There was another where I think we stalled around a 30-35 yard line. I think he had a 60-some yard punt that put the punter receiver guy had to go backwards to collect the ball. Like, that was a heck of a punt too in the middle of the game, and it went from like them starting at like 50 to them starting at their like 20-25.
Yeah,
I just saw that.
If you listen to the game and watch the game, I think Adam Amin, who was the announcer, had to change his pants pretty much every time a punt was kicked by Tory Taylor. It was quite comical.
All right. Another stocks trading, we talked about it already. Mr. Swift had a hell of a game. 165 all-purpose yards. Honestly, the entire running game, Roshan Johnson scored a touchdown. He had some juice too. Did Herbert get hurt? Was he benched responsibly for some reason?
Maybe. No, he had some playing time. I think he was in on special teams on kickoff returns.
Okay, but the running game looks like they had some juice, and I think it was a matchup we had highlighted that was something we should have been able to do. It's good to see us do it and actually be intentional about doing it too. Because once the running game get going, the play action came into play, and then that's when the catch to commit came into play, Chris. Because they did play action, the linebacker dropped down, and he just dropped it right behind him. So that was a heck of a play. Another name I kept hearing was
good to see DeAndre
was
Swift
Brisker.
actually make an impact. I think he heard the noise a little bit.
Uh-oh. Oh, he's back.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Supposed to keep going.
Another name I kept hearing. We'll just ignore him. Another name I kept hearing was Brisker. He was always around the ball, almost had an interception, and ended the game with an interception. Right? Like he was just like heck of a game. He was everywhere.
Had a sack, a forced fumble. No, not a forced fumble. Was it a forced fumble?
No,
No,
fumble
he
recovery.
just had a sack, a fumble,
Recovery?
pass deflection, and 2 tackle for loss. No, just the interception.
I wanted to bring this up. Remember when Caleb fumbled the ball in Indy when 2 tight ends were defending their best defender? Same thing happened for the Rams. A tight end and a wide receiver were defending Montez Sweat when he had the fumble. So it was like a tip of the hat, I think. Whatever Indy did to us, we did to the Rams, where Montez Sweat was at the end of the line being blocked by a tight end and a wide receiver when he got us the fumble that we recovered. Talk about some not so good things in the win. Some stocks that are not doing so well. Penalties. Chris brought it up. Oh my god, what a dirty game. I feel like every other play, at least, like there was a flag either on us, on them. It was like a lot of pre-snap penalties, especially on us, like the O-line, the QB, tight end. Like we need to get that cleared, get that shit cleaned up. If we play against a decent team, they'll make us pay for all these stupid penalties.
Yeah, the pre-snap penalties and the penalties from the offensive line is really killing this offense. You can tell even by Caleb's demeanor out there. You saw it at the beginning. Multiple plays on the first few drives were wiped out because of holding calls, were illegal formation on this line, false starts putting us back to first and 15s. Now, the question becomes, is the quarterback at fault at this as well? Is there a cadence issue going on there? That is something that we may not know, but definitely not the holdings. Obviously, that's primarily on them and the illegal formations. But the penalties that our offensive line is getting is becoming quite a joke. And it's really putting us in a tough situation because whenever you start off first and 15, it really takes away that 4-yard run, making into a reasonable down in distance.
Quick point about the illegal formation one. Across the league, it seems like it's a penalty that the refs are calling stricter this year. I've seen like Ravens, I've seen Houston, like even like teams that don't have penalty issues suffer from those. So it should be one of those things that.
Well, they made it. It's a rule change. They need to be lined up with the ass of the center, I believe.
So something must have changed because teams that I don't expect to get penalized for things like this were also getting penalized for this. I know there was something going on crazy. Another loss for us, a stock that was falling. I don't know what happens to us. We start so poorly in the first quarter. I think we have only scored 3 points so far in the first quarter overall in the first 4 games, which and that's the game. Like Chris always says, first 4 series, these are scripted plays. These are the plays you try over and over during the week and come prepared to like execute, right? Like Eberflus says, execute, right?
Except when it comes to Fields, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But he's not prioritizing his players.
What's funny about all of this is you guys have mentioned Fields more than I have.
Of course I am, because it's almost like
you guys,
for me.
Almost like you guys want to be part of the winning culture that they established in Pittsburgh. That's what it sounds like. Because
I have not said his name, and I was the biggest Fields stan around here.
You were. Miller was one of the few that was kind of in the bandwagon, and then he'll get off in the stop here and there.
And you were the biggest hater.
Listen, it's not that I was the biggest hater. And the one thing I will say,
pulled texts. We pulled texts, sir.
But here's the thing: the one thing I've always
before you put DJ's balls, Komet's balls in your mouth,
you don't even know whose balls I want, and there you are just mentioning different names. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish this. So, I always said, and Miller backed me up this one time because I actually went back through multiple episodes trying to find it. But we were having a discussion, and I said, This offensive play caller does not seem to want to play Fields a certain way. I don't know what it is about the play calling that we had with Fields last year, but it doesn't seem to fit what we're trying to do. Miller agreed with that take. And this was during the season last year. Now, I think what you're seeing to talk about the Bears now is kind of what you guys have hinted on. Caleb Williams won the game by being a game manager. Great. Does that mean that he can be a game manager and still perform at a very high level like we're seeing other quarterbacks perform? I can honestly say I don't know, but the ride is going to be fun. I think this is going to be one of those fun rides where we kind of get to see where we're at and then further evaluate as the season goes on. We're 2-2. Like, that's a W in my book.
Yeah. To that point, we are the least explosive offense in the NFL. I saw some stats today. I think we have 6 explosive plays so far this year of over like 20 yards. Right. So we're just not having that explosion on the offensive side that we expected with Caleb. We've seen him miss the open throws. That's starting to become a concerning talking point because he's missed it over and over again. Where the wide receiver has at least 1 or 2 steps on the defender and he's airmailing it. So I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it's something that can get corrected. We've seen him do it throughout his collegiate career, so we know he can do it. It's just whether he puts it all together, man.
No, I think you're right, Miller. Like jump balls, right? 50-50 balls and that are the biggest opportunity for him in this growth for him. It's, I think, a little bit of getting used to the familiarity, right? Not making the O-line mistakes. So some of the things, cleaning that up, and it's a deep ball because he was, like you said, that's what he was good at. Just like really good delivery for the deep ball. Even the jump ball too. Like Keenan Allen, I think it was his first game back, so it's probably a lot to expect. He's really good at those, so I'm hoping those two are things where we see progress on him this week and moving forward.
I have Miller doing some IT work because his microphone went to shits, but that's fine. Boopin, what's next for us to discuss?
I mean, boys, this is the time where we give our team the positivity they need to grow and flourish, okay? While you think about their positivity score, I'm going to recap where we were last week, okay? Chris, you were at a 2. You were pretty low after the Indy loss. I was highest at 5.5. Miller was at 5 last week. Move forward to this week. Chris, are you still at a 2, buddy?
No, I can honestly say I'm not at a 2 anymore. Given the performance and given the fact that we won at home, it was competitive throughout.
Undefeated at home, baby.
I will go ahead and Miller disappeared, but he'll come right back, so don't you worry. I am going to go ahead and say we're at a 4.
I already wrote that. I don't know if you saw the agenda.
I didn't see the end.
I wrote a 4 already.
Did Miller, you really?
Did you see me write his number down on the agenda or no?
No, I didn't see that.
I wrote it before you said it. I thought that was cool.
Miller,
Good for as you think of your positivity score, Miller, I will go. Being the positive member of this positive place, I am at a 6.5, a whole point more than the last week. I was at 5.5 last week. I'm at 6.5 now. Screw you. Miller, you're at a 6?
I'm at a 6.
Right, what is wrong with you guys?
We're at, if you're at a 5, we would be at the same playing field. Shut up.
What is your positivity rating, Chris?
4.
Why? I mean, we're 2-2. We've seen improvement from Caleb. We had a game where he had
and that's why I doubled
touchdown passes and made some rookie mistakes. And then you had a game where he was a game manager where he just led the team to the lead.
Hold on, I love how you say it's like made rookie mistakes. Like if that's no, it's just mistakes. Just call them what they are.
You literally
like, come on.
said before the season started that to expect rookie mistakes from Caleb.
Yes.
So I can't call them rookie mistakes.
Some of these mistakes were not rookie mistakes.
Like what?
When you dump it down to the flat after staring downfield for 20 seconds and the guy intercepts it, that's a fucking rookie mistake. You can't do that in the NFL.
That I agree.
Okay? Sorry.
No, it's like funny to see Chris.
Here's the thing, though.
He
No,
always on
hold
the
on.
other
Hold
side.
on. Hold on.
Okay,
Hold
go
on.
Tell
Here's
me
the
when
thing.
you-
I was at a 2. The man threw over 50 passing attempts. He threw half of it, and he won. That should tell you something. If anything, I doubled my score from last week.
You did.
Yeah. So my thing is, you guys are going on this fucking roller coaster of a ride. Miller is gonna lose his shit if Caleb throws for 3 interceptions and we lose the game by 30. He's like, well, we're at a -1 now because we fucking can't throw. And why did we draft Caleb if he's gonna throw 3 interceptions? Like that's the Chicago fan base in a nutshell. Like I doubled it to a 4. I doubled it to a 4 because there was a lot of improvement from last week. He didn't throw an interception. He didn't throw for 50 plus fucking things. And like you cut his throws in half, and guess what? He fucking completed the same. He only missed 6 throws or something like that I saw.
Yeah, pretty good.
And like, come on, give the guy a break. He did fine. It's a fine win. You doubled my score. We're 2-2. I'm not ready to go outside and start screaming, "Hey, Bears are going to the Super Bowl." No, I'm sorry.
Not either. So glad we're on the same page.
We're on the same page on that. I just think you're you know what you are? You're on that curve grading. You're on the curve grading.
All right, Chris is bringing us back to school. Talking about next up, let's talk about the next opponent the Bears are facing this week. Drum roll, please. Panthers are visiting the Bears. The 1-3 Panthers versus the 2-2 Bears. Bears at a 3.5 point favorite. It opened at a 5.5 point for Bears. I don't know how. And the over under is at 41.5, down from 43.5 again when it opened. So the point has moved towards Carolina by 2 points and under. But we will let's preview the matchup right quickly. On the Panthers side, I think Bears have been fairly lucky with injuries. None of them have been like long term or big affecting one. But on the Panthers side, they have dealt with lots of injuries already. Thielen made a nice touchdown grab and is hurt. I think he went on IR. Jonathan Brooks, the second round running back, was on IR. I think he's getting activated soon. Derek Brown and Shaq Thompson, who's their top 2 defensive players after the Burns trade, are likely out.
No, they're like done for the season.
Yeah, that's outside. Likely done for the season. So like these are like, I don't know, like top players on that team, at least like top.
Derek Brown is the defensive tackle. He's considered one of the best in the league. He's a Pro Bowler. Shaq Thompson, he's just been the longest tenured Panther. So they're both very big studs on the Panthers defense. Should open things up a little bit. Obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, we have 2 former Bears making their appearance at Soldier Field. The
revenge game.
The Red Rifle. Andy Dalton is coming back.
Pew pew.
Why would you call it a revenge game? The revenge game is for them coming over here. No, it's not a revenge game. We don't want it to be a revenge game. We want to win. So don't. No, we are not saying revenge game.
And
I love semantics so much. Sometimes
I do.
The one and only. Who remembers him? Eddie Pinheiro, the kicker.
Double doink.
No, that was Cody Parkey, dude. Get better.
Oh, okay.
The kicker that was brought in after Cody Parkey to compete and later cut by the Bears is back in Soldier Field. So we'll see. That's just a fun talking point this week. Other than that, the offense has been led lately by Chuba Hubbard. It's a fun name to say. It really is. He's the running back from Carolina. He's been tearing it up. In back-to-back league games since Andy Dalton came back.
On my fantasy team.
Yeah, you already said it sucks, so we're just going to move on. And then Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver, who's also kind of come out of nowhere now that Andy Dalton's come back and actually leading a capable offense. So it's definitely improved from the Bryce Young days. They obviously drafted Bryce Young 2 years ago. That was our pick. That was the big talk. Ryan Poles made this possibly one of the best trades in NFL history. That led us to go up in echelon and getting the Caleb Williams, getting the DJ Moore, and all the other assets that come with it. So we have that relationship here that there's going to be a lot of energy in the building on both sides of the ball. Dalton's coming back. I don't think he has any revenge on his mind. I mean, it's not like we're on bad terms, but who knows?
And he played at Bengals before this, where he started for 18 years.
Yeah.
He was the starting quarterback. So I think he's revenged out. But I had an over-under question for you guys. Over-under 3.5. That trade gets mentioned in the broadcast. 3.5 is the line.
Is it real? Is that
Over
like a
or
real line?
No,
I think it's probably over. I think it's gonna be talked about. No, it'll probably be under. I don't see them bringing it up a lot.
I think it'll be discussed in the pre-show, and then they'll mention it a couple times every time.
Okay, in the broadcast, I say over.
I don't see them going. I can see them like. Twice? What is your definition of mention it?
Like, one will be a big graphic. They will absolutely do
absolutely
right?
do the big graphic.
Yeah, agreed. And I think I don't know, maybe DJ Moore will catch a touchdown. And they'll be received in the trade, whatever. Big most.
It seems forced. I don't know. Seems forced.
Yeah. I mean, that's what broadcasters do. They have to go.
You're saying the trade? No, but you're saying the trade. I think they'll say the former Panther.
They'll show Bryce in the sideline, and they'll be like, Bryce was supposed to be a Bear, blah blah. They will definitely bring that up, right?
I disagree with that. If anything, I would say under. Then, if you think it's that route, I would more or less say under.
Yeah, that stuff sounds forced. I don't know. Moving on from the offense to the defensive side.
Chuck bet. Okay, whatever.
They obviously traded away their stud defensive lineman Brian Burns to the New York Giants. They did sign Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Wanham. Clowney obviously came from Cleveland and Wanham from the Vikings. So they had a combined 17.5 sacks last year. So there are two guys to look out for. They are older guys, so they're not the huge threat. They don't really have that young talent up front, more of the veteran points. So it's probably the weakest defensive line that we have faced so far this year. So look out for that as far as the key matchups. Their strengths, they're 1-3. They really don't have one. If you're going to make an argument, maybe it's the offensive line and the running game. It has done well in the last two games, putting up 131 and 151 respectively. So Chuba Hubbard has been running the ball pretty well. So we'll see how that goes. Weaknesses, it's the fucking Carolina Panthers, people. It's a bad team, a bad organization, and a bad owner. The whole shit, it's a fucking fire. It's a trash can on fire. Like, the owner inputs his opinion everywhere. I'll never forget the fucking video that I saw last year of the fucker going into one of the fucking Carolina diners and ripping the fucking hostess a new one because they had some shit on a sign outside of their restaurant. Like, dude, you are worth billions of dollars and you're stooping to this level. Like, come on. He's basically a poor man's Jerry Jones in the sense that Jerry actually has rings on his finger and this guy has nothing. And this team's a fucking dumpster fire. And if we don't win, fuck.
I mean, see, this is where we fall short, I think. Yes, it's a bad organization. They have issues. Tepper has temperament issues. Is very impulsive. But if we say this, we're just setting ourselves. We say, hey, they have their issues, but fuck, they're turning it around. They won a game. They were winless. They were competitive against the Bengals. That's what we say. So when the game actually comes in, because at the end of the day, these are NFL players. These are NFL teams. And I don't think two teams on a given day, any fucking team can win. So to set ourselves up for failure, I think we should give some credence to the opponent we are playing. So when they fucking slack us, we can be like, yeah, we lose, whatever. That's what I would say. So you manage expectations that way. Whatever.
Yeah,
End of
because
rant.
podcasts get viewers by managing expectations.
Okay, fair point. Fair point. Like Miller was saying, the key matchup is our D line versus their O line. Dalton has looked good. He's like brought this offense back to life, but can we make him uncomfortable? You know, he didn't have as big a off season with them, right? Bryce was starting, so maybe there's something there we can exploit. Like that's probably the biggest thing. Maybe we disrupt him. But they have scored 36 and 24 in back-to-back games, so that will be a good matchup to watch out for. Another matchup, their running game versus our D linemen. Miller feels very strongly that our running game is not up to par. We have not done as well in that department, so we've given up 131 and 151 in back-to-back games. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And like Miller said, this is a good opportunity for the offense to get back on track, because they don't have the star power. They haven't done so as well this year as some of our other opponents have done. With all that being said, I see a green mark next to my score prediction from last week. What is that about?
It means you were the closest because you were off by 3, you were over by 3, and I was under by 4 on the final score.
So you're saying I did something good.
I'm saying you were
cool.
close, yes.
Awesome. So last week, we all said the Bears would pull it through. Some people were more bullish than others. Chris thought we would win 38-28. I still find that funny, Chris. But I will start off as you guys think about the score prediction.
Well, can we agree we definitely left points on the board last week. So, I mean, there were definitely plenty of opportunities.
I knew McVay defense would not just gonna
There
lay down
wasn't.
and let us fucking score.
Yes, there was. I'm not going to start this argument with you. You're always wrong anyway. All right.
What opportunities were there?
There were opportunities, and I know some of it involved the O line. Some of it involved the
If you're
penalties.
talking about leading a successful drive down the field, I wouldn't call that an opportunity. Okay, running a wildcat on the fucking 1 yard line, that's missed opportunities, not failing to lead a drive down the field and score points.
I don't know, dude. I feel like you change your mind every other week, and it's hard to keep.
And you change the subject when you're wrong. So
no, I don't change the subject when I'm wrong because I'm never wrong.
I will start with the predictions. And
before you do that, Miller, 4-0 Miller predicting this week's score. Go ahead.
I kind of really want to pick the Panthers. I really do. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Panthers may pull this off, but I'm not going to do that. But I think Andy Dalton is going to come to play. I think our running defense is in the shitter right now. We're not getting the defensive front to handle that. I think this is going to be a close game. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-21 Bears.
All right. The same score someone predicted last week for the Bears. No big deal. Cheater.
Ubin, go ahead since you were the closest.
Thank you. I do feel it'll be close to. Probably come to a kick at the end. I say Bears win 21-20.
21-20. Jesus. All right, well, let's get this out of the way. Everyone is saying Bears, and I'm agreeing. I don't think this is going to be close at all, but it's because of the defense. I think the defense is going to pull away with 2 scores. I think there's going to be a fumble recovery for a touchdown or an interception for a touchdown. I think it's one of those.
Or.
Yeah, or. So either one of each or one of the same one. Like I think this defense is going to go fucking nuts. So I'm going to go 6-17 Bears.
So our offense scores 3 points.
Offense scores nothing. Offense scores 3 points. No, I was actually waiting to see your reaction on that.
I don't even know what to write.
I was waiting to see what Miller was going to say for that. That's why I kind of kept it like that. I do believe it's going to be 6. It's going to be 6-30 most likely.
6-30.
Yeah, I think
Fuck.
the one thing we did not talk about enough from the Rams game was just how good this defense looks. They look very, very good. I think they can be explosive.
Did we watch the same
very
game?
Excited. I watched what I wanted to watch.
It was a bend, don't break defense. Now, and I don't want to sit here and say that's the worst thing in the world, but they were allowing the Rams to go 20-20 basically every fucking time they had the ball.
Also, we played a lot more
who's
zone.
the fucking quarterback on that team?
Well, no, we played a lot more zone than I thought we have seen them play.
Like, they play like the defense played to what it needed to do.
I'm not arguing there, but to sit here and say that they're gonna lights out.
But if they needed to do that, that's a great fucking defense.
That's not what they need to do.
Chris, this is America. You can predict 30-6 all you want.
Give me 30-6, and when the Bears get that exact fucking scoreline, I just want Miller to say, Chris is always the right one in the trio of positivity. That's what I want. That's all I want.
Done.
Yeah, you're never gonna get that. No matter how far you fucking
Miller, you had something to add to the score prediction here before we move on to the fantasy corner.
It's not a big deal.
All right. Moving on to the fantasy corner. Miller, sorry I underreacted to your wonderful insight that you brought to the beginning of the show, but this is why. The question of the week, okay? I wanted to ask you guys.
I can't see that. What's that say?
He's saying 30-6. I think he's making up
anytime score for that? That's how much it pays?
I just put money on, since you haven't been making your booping bets. I just put money on the Bears defensive scoring anytime touchdown just for you.
Okay, that's not bad. That looked like a decent payout. I'm not gonna lie.
It's plus 500.
That's not bad.
All right. Well, I hope you hit. But the question of the week I had was the most surprising record, guys. I'll name a couple of categories for you guys. We can go Spitfire. We can analyze if you wanted to. But what are you more surprised by, right? Vikings being 4-0 or Jags being 0-4?
Vikings.
Neither.
Care to explain, Chris?
I think I kind of felt that the Vikings were going to still be up there. I didn't think they were going to be 4-0, but I think they were going to be a good team.
Christ.
What is wrong with Miller today? Jesus.
You didn't even have them winning the division.
Did we even talk about who's winning the division? I don't think we ever talked about it.
We talked about the playoffs matchups.
Yeah, I could have sworn I said Green Bay and Vikings.
Didn't say Vikings.
I said Detroit. I said Detroit and Vikings.
No, you did not.
I'm pretty sure I did.
You did not.
All right, producer, check the tapes. Thank you.
I will have to fucking check the tapes because you idiots don't know how to do it.
Okay.
Anyway, no. So I think what's really most surprising for me is Pittsburgh. They're 3-1.
That is the next question. The most surprising 3-1 team: Washington,
Pittsburgh,
Steelers, or the Bucks?
Oh wait, Washington.
I would say Washington. It's between Washington and Pittsburgh.
Who's a good journalist? Who's a good journalist?
That's a good one.
Here?
Would you say that though that Washington's the most surprising 3-1?
Probably. Them with Pittsburgh, I mean, it's fair. I mean, Tampa Bay is not surprising considering they're a playoff team last year. So
yeah,
while you give yourself
NFC
the props,
leading.
while you give themselves the props,
people, NFC East leading Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I think Washington's the most surprising because they have the rookie quarterback.
But I think that kind of follows what Miller was saying about Dallas.
True. Which brings me to my next question.
I'm not gonna gloat like some other people on this podcast.
Yeah, don't talk about booping like that. How dare you?
No. People, this is good because we're going to the next question, which is the most dangerous 2-2 team out there. The 49ers, the Eagles, or the Cowboys?
The Eagles and the Cowboys are not dangerous. The Niners, maybe if CMC comes back.
Yeah, which is not supposed to happen until November now.
That they don't fucking know.
That's too long.
They don't fucking know.
I
dude.
don't know. I would have to say not any of the three.
I almost said that. I almost agreed with Chris. God damn it.
It's
49ers? Come on, you guys.
Here's the
They're
thing.
a different
The
team without
49ers
CMC.
But Mason is doing an adequate enough job.
Not
like I don't think
CMC.
there's been there's not a drop off. I don't think in their
Ayuk is having
game.
issues right now. He's not getting the ball. They're
That's
having
got nothing to do
injury
with
issues.
CMC.
Hey, look
Nothing
at their
to do with
record,
CMC.
dude. They're 2-2. I don't know what to tell you, man. They blew a fucking lead against the Rams, and they got demolished by the Vikings. I don't know what to tell you. I'm just sitting here telling you what I'm seeing, and
I don't want to make
could
this
be a
go
case
too
that
long.
the Niners aren't the greatest team.
I'm going to just stick to Miller's point with that because I think Miller and I are on the same wavelength, and then we can kind of keep going because I don't want to be too much on this. But just the next couple games for the 49ers is Cardinals, Seahawks, Chiefs, Cowboys, Bucks. Those are the next 5. If CMC is in the lineup, I think Miller and I can agree that they could definitely win.
He's not in the lineup. It's not even worth talking.
No, again, just if he was in the lineup, because I said if, I think we would say the 49ers would win probably 4 out of the 5 here.
That'd still be tough, but yes, probably.
I would say most likely.
They have a lot of injuries, guys. Their whole receiving core is hurt. Well, not receiving, but Kittle's always hurt. Then you have Debo that's hurt. You have
Fred their linebacker just got
Hargrave
hurt.
that is out for the season. Their defensive line, you have Warner that's got his ankle. They always have fucking injuries, man. They have an injury issue over there in San Fran. So I just don't know.
Last question of this segment before we move on. The most surprising 1-3 team, the Rams or the Bengals?
Bengals.
The Rams, the media had some of the people, especially
they have injuries, dude. I mean, you had Miami on here too. I mean, I'm not gonna say a team is surprising to be 1-3 when they're fucking injured as fuck. Sorry, when you lose your starting quarterback, I don't consider it a crazy coincidence that they're 1-3. Just like with the Rams, I mean, look at the injuries that they've had to the wide receivers in the offensive line. It's not crazy that they're 1-3, but the Bengals being 1-3 when they've had minimal injuries, that's pretty fucking surprising.
I would say probably the most disappointing of the bunches that we've talked about, I think, is the Eagles.
I mean, they've had injuries. They don't have
but it's
AJ Brown and they don't have Devontae. So they have no weapons on offense. So.
And Lane Johnson also is in concussion protocol. But something is rotten on that team, guys. They have so much talent on the defensive side. Something big is coming from that team. Either the coach gets let's go or something I think is coming.
That's factual. I think you're right on that
one. Okay. That was majority of the question of the week. It was a long one, but that's what I wanted to bring. I thought it was a fun conversation.
It's mislabeled. They should have been questions of the week, but that's beside the point.
Wow. So we should not have sent you to college. This is a travesty.
I'm telling you guys are fucking up.
Miller, any fantasy nuggets that you want to share?
There hasn't been too much out there. Obviously, we have a lot of injuries. We're talking about Rashid Rice tearing his ACL, Jonathan Taylor with an ankle sprain, Anthony Richardson's got a hip, Christian Watson, I think, just is going to miss the IR, but he's at an ankle, and Will Levis got hurt yesterday in a thrilling Monday night matchup. So just keep in mind, this is going to be the first week where they can open the window for IR for players that started the season on it. So guys to keep an eye on is Nick Chubb from the Cleveland Browns. He tore up his knee pretty bad. The expectation is he's not going to be coming back anytime soon. They did open the window, so he should be on the roster within the next 3 weeks. Charles Edward Helaire, his window is going to be opening for the Chiefs as well. He kind of had a mental, he took a mental break, so his wasn't a physical IR. So if he does start to come back, keep that in mind. He should be up to snuff, if you will. And then obviously talked about Jonathan Brooks. It looks like his window may open for Carolina. He probably won't be playing this week. But these are some guys, if you need some running back help and they are on your waiver wire, maybe it's worth picking them up and putting them on the injured list. Could help down the line there if they are becoming they do get back to full strength. Just a few names to just talk about here. Confusing situations. Mark Andrews, 0 points in back-to-back weeks. Poopin, your thoughts on what to do with him? Because I don't think I can fucking drop him. I don't think I would play him until he proved it wrong, but I don't think I can drop him right now.
I think the problem is he's on the field. He's blocking a lot. And he's seen one target. Like, so he's not part of the game plan, or like I have seen games where he's double covered and stuff like that when they know it's an obvious passing situation. They do cover him decently, but I was looking into film and he was like, he's a really good blocker and they use him as such. So like, I'm with you. I don't think you can drop him. I don't think anyone's trading for him, but I think it hurts more because Kelsey's doing stuff and other people that we thought, hey, the tight end sucks. They're getting 4 or 5 catches, 6, 7 catches now. But Andrews has always been like he's on like a 25 catches for 200-yard season. So I have him on my team. I'm suffering badly. I don't even know if I can afford a bench spot for him. I have very bad injury issues on the team, but I don't think I'm dropping him. I think that's very drastic for someone at least name value. He has it. You just bench him and pick up. I don't know the guy from the Packers, whatever his
Kraft.
name is. Yeah, like pick something like that who will give you some points here and there. That's the only play I think we can do right
The
now.
other thing to just mention is the Chiefs' backfield. I would stay fucking far away from it. I mean, you have Kareem Hunt. He looks like he took the number 1 spot. And that point, you had Steele started, but he fumbled. You have Ryan, who's the receiving back, and you have CEH possibly coming back, dude. It's gonna be a mess. I don't know what to do here. I would stay away.
I did not put a claim on any of them. I knew it was going to be a complicated situation. But I think Kareem Hunt, like, he was on this team before, right?
Yeah, a long time
I
ago.
remember correctly. Yeah, so like he if it wasn't for the fumble, I think the fumble had something to do with how much he played. But for now, he's lead dog, and if you're desperate, like I may start like I don't know, either Raheem Mostert or somebody like that who's like not even 100% and maybe not even starting this week. So I know there's some pretty bad situations out there. So he could be a startable spot, but I don't know if you can rely on him, and that's tough to do. Quick note too: the buys start this week. There's like 4 different teams on buys. Eagles, Chargers, Lions, and Titans are on buy. So if you have one of these players on your team, look for a replacement. But it helps to look forward. So like look into next week, whoever's on buy. And you can start picking up replacement now. So you're not fighting with the rest of the people on the waivers next week when you need to replace them. That's my fantasy advice of the day.
Boys, we're not ending it there.
Okay.
Here is my fantasy questions to my pros here. And yes, we're extending it, but I don't care because my team is dog shit because everyone just seems to be. I wasn't gonna go that far.
I figured you were.
Boys, can we talk a little bit about the Tampa Bay backs? Do you still keep White on the bench and go with Irving, or do you just keep running White until they figure out who the actual number 1 is?
If you have both, I would start Irving. I think I would not start White.
I think it all depends on the team you're playing. I think you have to realize the opponent's strength, and if they are strong in the running game, then you probably go White because he's more of the pass catching.
I thought Irving was the pass catching.
I thought White was.
White is the more like inefficient but gets the volume guy, and I think Bucky Irving is like the little flash in the pan and gets the offense going, right, Chris?
So White had 10 attempts, 49 yards, and 2 catches for 35 yards.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going through
White
my phone.
had 2 catches for 35 yards, and Bucky had 1 catch for 6 yards. And they both had 10 carries. It's a sticky situation. The bottom line is
very.
I would probably, I don't know what to fucking do, man. Maybe you go
Bucky.
Bucky.
Hold on now. Hold on, because see, I come prepared. This man always comes prepared.
That's one thing we can always count on. Please, Chris.
You guys are going to help me out.
Okay.
Is it time to put Worthy from Kansas City as the flex?
Yes.
And completely fuck the
Yes.
Tampa Bay running backs?
Yeah.
Yes.
For right now, yeah. You could get some clarity in the future, but right now it's Worthy. Play Worthy.
Yeah, because I have Wilson.
I think Worthy will see like maybe five plays designed for him in the game. I can guarantee that.
See, the issue that I think a lot of people are having, I don't think they have it the way I do, because I actually have Mooney and Wilson, and I have Worthy. So I actually happen to have all three.
Fuck is Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Oh, yeah, fuck that guy.
Jesus. So a lot of people were either looking at, like I was looking at the fantasy numbers of, in ESPN, they tell you how many times they've been rostered or what's the percentage. Daryl Mooney's up 5%, and Worthy is actually being dropped, but he was at one point like 91% rostered. So do you guys feel like the wide receivers might actually be the best flex spots?
Yeah, if you have some PPR,
No, yes.
I have like crappy running backs. I have Chubb in one of my IR spots, so I'm hoping he comes back. But I have really shitty running backs, so I always start 3 wide receivers right now.
I have very good running backs across all my leagues for some reason.
Not mine. Well, Boobin, take us home.
All right, people. Should we talk about what a genuine pleasure it's been to talk to you today? Thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being positive. Someday in the near future, people, we will celebrate together. Until then, we suffer in our misery together. Good night, people. Miller still sucks.
Miller's fucking horrible right now. He's ruining it for us. But hey, thanks for doing this, guys.